Welcome to part 3 in how to use Linux Mint, an easy-to-use Linux-based operating system. In this video, we're going to check out how to install software and remove software using Mint's built-in software manager. So let's get started.
Free your mind.
Okay, so there are two basic ways we can open the software manager. We can left-click at the bottom left here at the Applications menu and select Software Manager in the Favorites bar. By default, after you install Linux Mint, this is saved as a favorite, so you can do that. Or you can go to Administration, the Administration category, and select Software Manager in the right column here. And then once it opens up, you're going to be greeted to a very nice, clean interface. The software manager is unique to Linux Mint. It offers all of the great programs that Linux and the free software world has to offer. This is your gateway to everything awesome that is free software. This is how you both download and install your games, your applications, your web browsing apps, your music apps, anything that you need that's free software. This is where you go. So let me show you a little bit about the layout, and then we'll get to the part on installing and removing software. So at the top here, you're going to see the Software Manager's highlighted application. This is just a randomly chosen or highlighted app that changes from time to time. If you want to learn more about it, you can left-click in anywhere in this icon, in this image, and it's going to show details about the application. It's going to go into details about the application name, a description of the application, the reviews that it's received, how many reviews, and then a little bit more of a description about the program. Scrolling down, you can actually see a screenshot of the program as well, and then some more technical details. And this is something, as you get more familiar with Linux, you're going to start to pay attention to these version numbers, because one of the great things about Linux is that software is rapidly changing and evolving, and it's getting better and better all the time. So you're able to get upgrades to these packages a lot faster, and these usually have new features or fix any bugs that might be present. It's a really exciting and wild environment where you can start to see all of the good things that are out there and how much better they do really get over time. So below the details, you're seeing the reviews, and for this particular program, it has a good variety of reviews. And then it gets down to the bottom. Once you get familiar with the applications, if you want to add your own review, you can do that. And you can click there and write your own review, give it as many stars as you want. And then at the top, you're seeing these two buttons here because this application itself is already installed on my system. These two buttons are present when the application is installed, giving you the option of launching the application or running it, and then the red button to actually remove the program. As you can see, when I hovered over it with my mouse, you could see that the tooltip, the yellow helpful box below, was stating that it is installed. So I'm going to go back here to the home screen, and I'm going to look at the editor Pics here. And these are things that the software managing editors or the Linux Mint team have highlighted in general, just as being particularly useful or helpful or popular. And you're welcome to, you can explore any of these apps. There's no constraints, there's no limits. I mean, you can check these things out by left-clicking them, and you can learn what they're about. So each description of the app is all in the same format. So in this case, Stellarium is a real-time photo realistic sky generator. And this creates, Stellarium renders 3D photo realistic skies in real time. With Stellarium, you really see what you can see with your eyes, binoculars, or a small telescope. And so they got some features. They show the website on where you can go to see the developer page, or the page where the software is on the web, and probably learn more about it and learn about the development and the code. But for most end users, you're probably just going to want to focus on the app itself. And of course, the reviews at the bottom. So to finish up over here, the categories at the bottom are the place where you can see different types of programs. So for example, there are, if you want to just look at games, you can left click on games, and this whole section now is dedicated to just games. There's nothing else. There's no paint apps, there's no music players, no video players. It's all just games. And then there are categories that are shown on the left here that really allow you to hone in on the specific type of game you'd like to play or like to download. I would heavily recommend you check out a lot of these games. There's some really fun, really good open source games that have been created that are a lot of fun to play. But then if you wanted to go to something like, say, sound and video, which is something I primarily do as a filmmaker and video editor, then there are sections dedicated to both sound, whether that's playing sound or manipulating sound, or internet radio, and then video. So things like video players or online video players, other technical packages, things to transcode videos. So you can start to see the layout, how it changes from a category to a subcategory list in the left column here, and then the actual applications themselves are here on the right. And then as always, if you want to view any of them in particular, you can just left click on them and it brings you to the details of the application. So the only other parts you need to know are up at the top here. There is a search field, and this does allow you to search for any applications. So if there is something you are searching for that you specifically know about, a particular program that you want installed, and you don't want to have to sift through the categories to try and find it, what you can do is you can begin typing what you want. In this case, I'll go with VLC because this is a very popular media player. So I didn't have to press the enter key. As I'm typing, it begins to automatically search and filter my results for me. And so as you can see, there are programs and packages, not just for VLC itself, but related to VLC, because again, this is a world of really unlimited possibilities. So because of the open source nature of free software, people are allowed to make things that can benefit from other programs, or they can make different programs that take advantage of the code from some others. And so you start to see different variations and different kinds of programs, even if they're the same program. So for example, this here browser plugin VLC is a multimedia plugin for web browsers based on VLC. So if you have a web browser like Firefox or Google Chrome and you need something to play your videos in browser, somebody developed a plugin and they coded that and they released it, and you can use that in order to play media from the web browser. Now that's not the greatest example because most of these come built in, but you get the idea I'm trying to say here. So there are a lot of possibilities. So even if you wanted to look for games, like I noticed that Minecraft was there in the games section. And so it's going to search the repositories, and sure enough, Minecraft is going to come up here at the top. So sometimes you're going to see what looks to be the same listing of applications, and many of the times it is the same application. But you're going to notice this text here that says FlatHub. Now, because open source, again, allows for unlimited possibilities for developers, sometimes people release things in different ways. So this could be the same program, but what's happening is it's packaged differently. So in this case with Minecraft, the application is stored in a package, which is stored on a server that you can download and install locally to your machine. FlatHub is a different kind of package that it's what's called a containerized package, and it allows you to download from different repositories from different servers other than the main Linux Mint server. And the benefits are often that these programs are constantly updated. So when a new release of a game or a program comes out, you can update them automatically without needing to update your entire operating system. Normally, Linux-based operating systems release in certain cycles, and each cycle usually has a fixed version of an application. So, for example, Blender here is a 3D modeler, and this application, this version is 2.79, and it came out about a year and a half ago. So this is the version that you would actually install and download locally from the repositories from the software manager. But version 2.80 came out a couple of months ago, and so to get that, you would have to either download it straight from the website, or you'd have to see if this Flatpak package is available for Blender. So left-clicking the Flatpak and going into the Flatpak section, these are all programs that are available using the Flatpak package as opposed to the traditional package. Feel free to leave me any comments in the comment section if you find that confusing. I'd be happy to try and help clear that up. So you see Blender's over here, and Blender, this version is, there we are. It just appeared, and it's 2.80. So this is the latest version that I can install straight from here. There are benefits and constraints to both methods. So for the most part, you can use this Flatpak method and it works great if it's available. Sometimes if you're using a higher end graphics program and you need more graphics power like from your graphics card, sometimes these don't always access the higher end graphics capabilities needed. So things might run slower, or you might run into a few technical issues. So on the whole, just using the typical installation method works more than fine, and this is what I would recommend, is that you install programs straight from here or from the categories or just searching. But that is purely preference. That is up to you, and you're welcome to choose whichever path you can, whichever method works best for you. And it's okay to experiment. It's okay to try out and see, install Blender here and install it through the Flatpak and say, hey, maybe this is working flawlessly and this has some issues, or the Flatpak one works just great, and now you get to enjoy the latest version of the software. So the last thing you need to see before we go and install software is to look at the menu button right here at the top right. Left-clicking this will give you a short menu list of some helpful options. If you want to see the applications that are all installed on your machine, you can left-click on Show Installed Applications. In this case, it's just showing the Linux kernel. And this list will actually be populated more when you install more programs onto your machine using the software manager. So anything you install from this moment onwards is going to show up in this list of your installed applications. This isn't showing the default packages. This isn't showing everything that was installed from the moment that Mint was put on your machine. This is just about packages and programs that you have installed. Okay, so let's get to the fun part, installing programs and broadening the use of our computer with these amazing open source applications. So I'm going to start off with a simple, let's go with Stellarium. That's a good little starter there. So after left clicking on that, you can click the install button right here with your left click, and you'll notice that it begins installing with a little progress bar. Usually when you install packages, it's saying that additional software has to be installed, and this is very normal. What it's saying is that this program relies on these other programs or packages in order for this to work. And so you're always going to be clicking continue, because if you don't, you won't be able to successfully install this, and the program itself is not going to work. So you're going to click continue. And then you're going to see this window pop up. So every installation and every removal is going to require your administrative password. And that is a very helpful security feature that prevents unauthorized programs from putting something onto your computer. This has been around since the beginning of Linux, and it's a very useful feature. For some people, they feel bothered at times where they have to authenticate every install, but trust me, it is for your own security. It's one of the reasons that Linux-based operating systems are the most safe and easy to use and virus-free operating systems on the planet. So I'm going to put in my password, and then I can either press enter or I can click authenticate. Both of those do the same thing. And then once that's done, it's going to begin the downloading process and installing the software. So right now it's downloading the programs from the Linux Mint servers. And you can see up at the top left here, there's an icon that's showing that one task is running, which is installing this particular program. You can have multiple programs installed at once and they'll work in sequence. And that's why you're seeing this here. So while this is going on, you could install another program and you could go back, install more, and this list would begin to show all of those programs as they're being installed. So we're just going to wait for this to finish real quick here. It's almost done. And there we go. So the installation is complete. And you're going to see the familiar two buttons that you'll see after a program has been installed. I can launch it straight from the software manager up here once it's been installed, or I can go down to the applications menu at the bottom here, and I can go into the place where it's located, and I can left click to run it from there. If you don't know the category or you don't want to search through them, just like the search field up here, you can use this search field to search for your locally installed applications. So if you want to look for Stellarium, you can immediately begin typing, and sure enough, after 4 letters, it's right there. And I can press the enter key, or I can left click with my mouse, and that's going to open up the program. And there you go. So now we're enjoying looking up at the stars here. Okay, so I've just closed the program. So let's say, now that we've installed it, let's say for some reason we've tried out a program and we say, for whether it's to free up space or this just wasn't something that was useful or interesting to me, I want to remove it. Well, then you just click on the remove button up here at the top by left clicking, and you'll see that it shows removing, and a progress bar has now been revealed to show the removal of the package. And just like that, it's now uninstalled. It's out of your system. You'll find that the education category that it was under in the applications menu is now gone because this was the only program in that category. And so now it's off your machine. So like I said, you can do this for multiple programs. Let's say if we wanted to install Skype. I'm going to install multiple ones just so you can see what it looks like while multiple programs are being installed. So we're installing Skype, Google Earth. We'll install this version of Blender. And I'm just clicking on the program and then clicking the install button. So now you'll see up here it says 3 tasks running. And if I left click on that, this window just came up telling me additional software has to be installed for one of the programs that I chose. I'm going to click continue. I'm going to left click up here, and you're going to see it says currently working on the following packages. So it's going to show each one. Now one of the things I kind of wish this had, but it doesn't, is that it's not showing a progress bar of any kind for each program. But I have submitted a request to that to the developers, so hopefully if they choose to incorporate that, they can add that feature, and then that will be put in a later or more recent version of Software Manager. And that's the beauty of open source software, is that you can submit bugs or feature requests to developers and they can code and add these features in, and then you can enjoy them in your software. So you'll see that as the installation is complete, they're just simply being removed from this list. They're just going away. And that's going to tell you that they're complete and that the installation is a success. So left clicking on it will go back to the package details, and it will show you right where it's at the installation process. And then you're going to see once it's completed that all operations complete, and that tells you that all of your packages, your program requests have been completed, and they are installed locally on your machine. So there's Google Earth, there's Skype, and going into the graphics section, there's Blender. And so they are ready to go. Now, if we want to, you'll see a green check mark at the top right here, and that symbolizes that the programs have been installed on your machine. So now if we go up here in the menu and we look in the installed packages, now you're seeing all of the programs that you have chosen to install that are installed locally. And that, my friends, is how you install and remove software in Linux Mint. So this concludes part 3 of this 7-part video series. Really appreciate you watching. If you hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. It helps to get the word out and helps to share these videos with more people. And also, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and you find them helpful or useful to you in your open source daily lives, feel free to subscribe so that you can get more content delivered daily and you can see the newest videos. And then feel free to move on to part 4, where we discuss the System Settings Manager. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care and stay free.